Well, it's already 100 degrees in Texas, and we're not even at May 15th yet. So I hope that's not I hope that's not a sign of things to come as far as the heat index is concerned. But what is heating up is the hype for the Cowboys season as we're getting more and more information about who they're going to be playing and when. Of course, leading with the Eagles in week 1. That's obviously generating plenty of hype for obvious reasons. What I want to make sure that we're all understanding, or at least make clear from my perspective, is that playing the Eagles in week 1 is about as ample an opportunity for this particular Cowboys team to possibly do so. You got to play them two times in 2025 anyways. You might as well do it when it's warm, when they're focused on raising the banner and throwing that in your face, things that mean nothing towards the success or the future of their franchise in 2025. Let them dwell in the past a little bit, right? Cowboys focus on the future in warm weather and when they have no idea who your identity is. Why, 6.5 point dogs already for the Cowboys. I get why. 7-10 coming off last season, defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. It makes sense from the surface. Okay. But digging a little bit deeper, and I just realized that I'm not married as of today. Or at least that's what my empty and buck naked left ring finger would indicate. I don't know where my ring went. I had it on my hand this morning when I went to the gym. Anyway, I love you, Case. The Eagles aren't going to know who the Cowboys are yet, right? New identity, new roster, new coaching staff. That's a significant advantage, all right? But what I want to also highlight is something that I just discovered thanks to my buddy AOC. Attack on Cowboys did a collaboration with he and Ray last week that was very high octane, energy, and fun fueled. I think a lot of people will enjoy. If you go check back into the archives, a live show from last Wednesday, I believe it was. You guys would really appreciate that one. It's a fun discussion. But needless to say, AOC brought to light something that definitely hasn't met the public eye yet. I haven't seen anybody mention this before he did. So I want to make sure I give him credit. September 4th is when the Cowboys are slated to play the Eagles in week 1. Two very specific let's just say articles of or items of significance regarding that date. All right. The first is that date just so happens to be the day of Dak Prescott's late mother's birthday. As you can see right here, it's a little bit bigger than football for him, and it will be on that day. And this article here for CowboysCountry.com actually isn't even released yet, so you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak peek or sneak preview behind the scenes, depending on when this gets posted and when that one gets published. But that's okay. The full video title from AOC's nugget here that he just dropped is on his YouTube channel with the thumbnail title "Perfect Storm." I have it linked in this article here. You guys can definitely see that. And by the way, just for those of you who are new here, I'm Lando from the Lando Show.
All right.
And this is Sports Below the Surface. We're kind of
I am inevitable.
in a little bit of a rush today, so we definitely forgot a little bit of the intro there, but that's all good. We're just going to keep on rolling. The second nugget from AOC in regards to the September 4th date against the Eagles is that the last time the Cowboys played on September 4th also just so happened to be in 1995, the last year that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. So do with that information what you will. A couple really interesting pieces at the very least in May, right? When we still have 4 months to count down and build up and overanalyze the season. This is something fun to consider at this current juncture. Okay. So then Beyond that, Thanksgiving Day now, it's official that the Cowboys will be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs at home this time. And there was, that storyline or that news drop was definitely met with some blowback in the eyes of the public. But what's interesting with that is the Chiefs, you get, it's like, I guess it's the whole America's team debate or discussion, if you will, or whether or not the Cowboys are worthy of playing the Dynasty of the Decade Chiefs, fresh off a 7-10 season, and the year before that, the most embarrassing playoff loss in franchise history for the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys haven't been in the headlines for a lot of really good reasons ever since that day, and so they've definitely been, let's just say, on the wrong end of an America-sized finger pointing directly at them and sort of laughing at them, making fun of them, the laughing stock, if you will. But here's the thing, just a couple of fun nuggets to consider. In 2024, the Lions were actually the ratings juggernaut in the NFL, okay? They were the number one watched football team, okay? This the very same Lions team that just 2 years ago was lucky to get 2 national windows all season long. Now the NFL's number one most watched football team. That's kind of weird to say, right? I understand that's definitely not something that many people may have predicted just a year or two or even 3 years ago. But what's interesting to consider, though, and why I guess just pushing back or the objective point of view, the devil's advocate take with regards to the blowback towards the Cowboys and the Chiefs being scheduled on Thanksgiving Day is that ratings and revenue will always reign. Regardless of what anybody thinks about who the Cowboys are going to be based on what they were last year, right? If they want to overlook all the injuries and now a change in identity, a change in coaching staff, and everything involved with that, everything that's transpired this offseason, that's okay. That's on them. But it doesn't matter really about the on-field product, right? And last year's season, the 7-10 Dallas Cowboys 2024 season proves that. They were still the number 2 most watched NFL football team last year with just over 22 million viewers on average, which is about 7 more million viewers than the average NFL football game. The average NFL football game in 2024 generated 17 million viewers. That was their rating. The Cowboys, even at 7-10, averaged over 22. So just if nothing else, it goes to show you that the brand power in Dallas, even regardless of how good they are, it's always going to be alive, right? Because it's not necessarily America's team. I don't care who gets that crown. What I know is that the Cowboys are America's favorite team to hate. Take the Thanksgiving Day matchup last year featuring the Cowboys, for instance. Okay, Cowboys Giants, two teams with 2 losing records. 38.8 million viewers, peaking at 41.3 million. The most watched NFL game of the entire regular season. Why? Is it because everybody's just watching football, everyone's gathered around eating football on a national holiday, most people aren't working? Yeah, that absolutely matters. But it's also because of what I just mentioned, right? And I believe strongly in it that the Dallas Cowboys are America's favorite team to hate. As big as the fan base is, there will always be more people that hate them than people that love them. And even beyond that, right? Even if they weren't, right? Just disregard with football for a second. Let's just talk society and psychology, which is what we do here. Sports below the surface. That's sort of the moniker of this entire platform. Failure is what's common, right? I've discussed this in the past, and once again, it's just worth readdressing. People resonate with failure because it's common, right? I mean, in general, I'm not even talking football, right? Remember that. So just just think about it. Why why else? We don't even have to really we don't even really have to go there because that's kind of a long discussion. But failure resonates with the masses because it's easy. Like failure oftentimes requires complacency. It requires a lack of discipline. It requires a lack of perseverance. Like misery loves company, right? That's the old saying that I think is sort of a good it's a good punchline for us to really understand what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to reiterate. I feel like I usually have a better a better handle on making this delivery and making it come off palatable, but also strong, right? Because success just isn't common because it's hard. To be successful, to be the best in anything, it requires a lot of work, a lot of diligence, a lot of perseverance, a lot of discipline, patience, consistency, right? So, point being, and I hope that I'll do a better job in the future of unpacking why exactly that is. But people want to see the Cowboys lose, and so that's why this game makes a lot of sense. Right now, you can argue make the point. Well, why would the NFL waste such a high ratings game on a day like Thanksgiving, in which ratings they're they don't need any help in the ratings department anyways? Well, that's a fair question, but I think what the point is that scheduling the Cowboys on week one for the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, most people thought it should have been the Commanders for just an NFC title game last year, a divisional NFC championship game rematch. The I think what the NFL knows is what it's not currently popular to say out loud because of the way that the last 18 months have transpired for the Dallas Cowboys after that the postseason loss to the Green Bay Packers. The Dallas Cowboys are actually going to be pretty good, pretty competitive. They're going to give people problems. I think the NFL knows that too. That's just my opinion, of course, and if nothing else, ratings and revenue will always reign. That's sort of the whole point. Thank you to the official partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be talking about this. It's going to be a series. There's a lot. So I went out of town this past weekend. So there's some other things, some housekeeping things that we got to take care of. So I'm just going to pump these videos out, try to keep it between 15 and 20 minutes, about a series, about 4 or 5 different ones, just sort of catching up on everything that we've discussed since I've last been live with my travel. I always get momentum going, and then life happens as a with having 2 small children and 2 small businesses. It's just life gets kind of crazy, right? So you go out of town for a weekend and you get thrown out of your schedule, out of your rhythm, and you lose all that momentum that you created. So, uh, needless to say, I've still playing catch up a little bit, but most things that I feel like have needed to be said have been already put put taken care of in written form, and so that's what we're going to be doing. I'll just sort of preview what's to come here, and I think that there's some incredibly important things that I want to make sure that we are aware of and are paying attention to. Things like the significance behind Tyler Smith's agency switch, unpacking the critics who are detailing the most head scratching move for the Cowboys so far this offseason. We'll sort of punch back, if you will, on that. I want to dive deeper into the Cowboys' projected starting lineup as far as the offense is concerned, and maybe just touch on a few more things, re-emphasizing some of the things that we have it's sort of been the theme of the entire offseason under Brian Schottenheimer. But then on top of that, I want to talk about Kevontae Turpin and his utilization and some things that I've discovered with a bit of a deep dive into his film and his statistics based on his deployment and his usage in 2024 and what I think that means for 2025. We'll talk about that. And then lastly, but not least, maybe even most importantly here, one more major roster move that the Cowboys should make with data analysts or analysis and statistics to back that up. I'm not predicting a move is coming. I've mentioned it, and you guys will see if you go back and check out the Attack on Lando show with Ray last week, the live with Attack on Cowboys, where I discussed that I don't think that another trade is imminent. And there are very specific reasons as to why that is. But I do believe that a certain free agent or two is not just in play, but being strongly considered just with there's a little bit of a holding pattern here, depending upon the health of one or two particular individuals and also the performance and the growth of one or two particular individuals at two very specific and very important defensive positions. But the Cowboys need one more major roster move, and stats reveal why. This was one of the first things that I wrote about when I took on this new endeavor, writing for CowboysCountry.com. It's all coming full circle. Right? And I'm really excited to bring this to light and put this out there for you guys to hear it. And then, of course, to hear back from you. Okay. Thank you to Waggle, the official partner of the Lando show. Let me put that. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I just realized you were dealing with a blank screen this whole time. Let me blow that up. But I'll put this QR code here. You just scan that code right there in the top right corner of the screen. The 10% discount is automatically built in for you. So all your discounted Waggle merch can be found right there. All right. And with that, remember that prayer changes things and the war is already won. Thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button to continue helping me push through and grow this platform and eclipse that next milestone of 5,000. Okay. 75,000 strong across all socials, but 5,000 on YouTube. That's the next mark. That's the next goal. And I know that with your help, we're going to hit that. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon.